Hi there, it's the 24th of November 2013 and I'm here with Caroline Walker, who has been our latest writer-in-resident here at the Kerouac Writers-in-Residence Project. I just have a few questions to ask you before you leave, Caroline.
Oh, I'm sad, but I am willing to answer them.
Well, thank you. Firstly, let's start at the beginning. How did you find out about the Kerouac Writers-in-Residence program?
I found out about the Kerouac Project through Poets and Writers, so on the Poets and Writers Residency database.
And when you read about it, what attracted you to it?
When I first found out about the project, I think one of the things that attracted me the most was the sheer quantity of time. 3 solid months, so indulgent. And the food stipend, and just to feel like this would be an opportunity to really get into flow and stay into flow and see how long I could sustain it, felt like a rare and really, really valuable opportunity. I thought, why not AMI?
Okay, before you arrived here, did you have a set amount or a set type of work that you wanted to accomplish?
I did. Before I arrived here, I had a very distinct goal of what I wanted to accomplish here. I've been working on a nonfiction project for years that had stalled because I'd sort of drafted it several different ways for several different people, and really sort of lost my own voice, I think, and lost the heart of the story. But I still loved the project so much, which is my ongoing America Underground project, exploring underground spaces in America and people's relationships to those places and American identity through that sense of place. And I think there are parts of the Dharma Bums that really sing out about that connection to place, and reading about this residency, it just felt like that feels like good juju, that feels like the right environment, it feels like a very, very nurturing scenario. You know, I certainly had no expectations, but I thought, why not? It feels like such a perfect fit. So that was my goal, and sure enough, coming here, it took some fiddling around and sort of just marinating in it to come up with sort of some new ideas for structure, which just freed me up from a lot of the old constraints of things that I thought the project needed to be for the last few years. And suddenly it sort of found a really honest vein and a really clear and loving way to tell these stories. But I will say also, I was surprised. I'd been writing a lot of fiction in the last year and sort of toying around with an idea for a novel. And when I got here, I was really, really inspired by the area, by Central Florida, and it sort of felt to me like it solved a puzzle, the puzzle piece that I'd been looking for that particular project. So in addition to working on America Underground, while I sort of did some of those interviews and worked on the structure and got that sort of in a really loving place, I dove in deep and just started drafting that novel, and pushed myself as hard as I could to get the story out, chase the story and get the story out before I lost it. And so I was not at all expecting to have that detour, and it's been a delightful surprise.
So tell us a little bit, does the novel that you're working on, something about it so we would recognize it, and when it comes out that you does it have a working title, or
It does. I'm a little superstitious to talk about it right now because it is, I have actually some readers who are giving me the feedback now. It feels I want to pin it down after this next round of revisions before.
Okay, but it is set partly in Central Florida.
Oh yes, half of the story, and very lovingly told. This is a place where some really sort of glorious things, I hope, for me, magical things happen, and so
we'll recognize it from that.
Oh
when
yes,
it comes out.
Yes, you'll recognize quite a bit from experiences and from the environment and from the big oak tree.
What was your daily work routine life like in the house?
I worked in the back room at first, where Mr. Kerouac, where I lived, And for 2 months I was in that back room, and it was really nice to feel like this was my home space. This is where I can relax. This is where I read. This is where I have company, and that's work. And also just felt really inspired. Opened the windows, butterflies everywhere. It just was beautiful and nurturing. So I would get up pretty early, get up with the sun, put on some coffee, go back there and just start writing until my brain got cluttered. But in those early morning hours before I had too much of a chance to interrupt my own thoughts, really just let it kind of flow, which was nice also. I was reading a lot of Kerouac while here, and reading a lot about Kerouac. And I tend to manicure every sentence so meticulously that sometimes I can get in my own way. And I just thought, well, why not try something new? Why not try just sort of like letting some of this flow a little more freely, a little less self-consciously, and just see what happens, and sort of channel that Kerouac spontaneous composition a little bit. I wouldn't go still manicure a little meticulously, but so my days started early, work, and then I usually, when I sort of felt kind of was getting like, at my limit, I would go outside and go for a walk, go for a bike ride, get some food, do a little yoga video, do a little, just get some fresh air, change scenery a bit, come back. And usually in that time during those walks, I'd answer the questions that I had would sort of come to me, and come back and work. And then toward the end in this last month, I did move. I found that like I was getting a little stuck, and I thought, okay. And I was back to America Underground and working on that. I was like, the novel lived there. I'm coming back here, and this is where America Underground. I kind of find these places where I'm going to work. So I've been in this main room for the last month, and it's been nice. I've also broken up I've taken some, like once a month, go someplace else, try to see something new, change scenery altogether. So break it up into little chapters. So yeah, my day today was a lot of just writing my heart out from sun up to sundown and beyond.
All right. What was the highlight of your stay here?
Oh my gosh. It's hard, that it's difficult to isolate one highlight of my stay here, because this entire experience has been surreal. It's been one suspended, extended highlight. I suppose meeting the people here in Central Florida, and in particular, y'all, the people associated with the Kerouac Project, that's the highlight. That's the highlight because not only do I feel like I have friends and mentors and people who inspire me, but also people that I really like and respect a lot, to whom I feel an obligation to be accountable. So it's not just about my work anymore and indulging this, what can I achieve? It's I need to show them that their investment and their decision to have me here was a wise one, and that I feel like the highlight was laughing and getting to laughing with and caring about the people who invited me here, truly.
Wonderful. Had you been to Central Florida before?
As a kid, I'd been to Disney World, imagine that, and that was my limited experience in Central Florida.
So what surprised you about your stay in Central Florida?
Central Florida surprised me a great deal across the board. And I'm a little embarrassed that it did, but I guess that's the truth. I've been humbled by some of my expectations and assumptions, my limited assumptions of what Central Florida is all about. I think the ecology here, it's so beautiful. The springs and these great big live oak trees and the dripping Spanish moss. I just thought maybe palm trees, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't quite know what to expect. Just the whole sensory experience of being under the canopies and the lakes and the ponds and the sinkholes and the springs. Oh my gosh. And really the literary scene down here has knocked my socks off. The most extraordinary supportive, nice. Just everybody I've met is so nice. It feels really, I've lived in a lot of big cities, and sometimes there's that sort of like competitive edge to everything, which is great. It pushes people a lot. I really am a kid glove kind of gal, and I feel like there's a lot of gentle support here, and but people who are really eager to be a part of an artistic literary community. That's been a fun, I suppose not a surprise because I knew y'all were down here, but just sort of the energy about it has been a really lovely surprise.
Next question is, what advice would you give to the next writer in resident? I don't really believe in giving advice, quite frankly, because everybody's experiences are so different. But I will share my experience. For me, I think dropping all of the other things that I was tempted to be obligated to, things that were unnecessary, dropping it all and just really seeing what am I capable of when everything else falls away. What can I do? Every time it started to get uncomfortable, I thought, well, I should reach out to that client and pick up some blogging jobs, and I should do this. And I thought, no, okay, let's just see how much further how much wider you can reach with this. And for me, just pushing past those levels of discomfort and seeing how far can I go? How honest can I get? Am I willing to get? How much longer can I, keep at it? And to have fun, have a great time, because it moves quickly. It's sad when it's over, and it's been really extraordinary. Enjoy. And the last question is, where do you go from here? What is next in your career, and where do you predict we will read about you in the future?
I don't know where I'm going from here. I suppose there's the on-the-road element at play. My things are in storage. I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to Arkansas for Thanksgiving, Illinois for Christmas. And then I'm not really sure where I'm headed geographically after this, where I'll unpack, or when I'll unpack. That's completely up in the air. Career-wise, I'm really excited to tighten up this manuscript and get it out there, see what happens. I think I'm going to move as quickly as I can with that, so I don't overthink every single word forever. But I know I'll be visiting the last handful of sites on the America Underground itinerary, and hopefully getting that wrapped up soon. So I imagine hopefully you'll be reading America Underground before too long here. That would be my great hope, is that the next publication you read from me are these stories that are so dear to me. And
will you come back for a book signing?
Oh my gosh, if you'll have me, it would be my great pleasure.
That would be wonderful. Well, thank you. You've been a wonderful writer in residence.
Thank you so much.
And we wish you all the best, and stay in touch.
Thank you. My pleasure.